Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Muse Jester. My name is Junior. And no, we're not going to be reviewing the Vamp. I already did that. So what am I doing here with the Vamp again? So one of the things that I fixed, well, I'll talk about that later. One of the things that was very, very irritating to me was the fact that I couldn't figure out how this whole thing works, if it's supposed to be remote controlled or not. I really wanted a space for the guys to stand on, but I don't know how to do that without sacrificing the look in the back. Anyway, I realized I could modify it and customize it to do what I wanted to do. And when I do customizations, I tend to do things where it can look almost exactly like I did before if I wanted to go back to what it was. So, and that's what I did. You probably can notice a few things going on over here and everything, and that little patch over there. Well, that's there because I went ahead and opened the back. So the back is now capable of sitting a figure. I mounted, I'm going to fix this later on, but I mounted it so that this is now sitting on top of the bar. I'm still waiting for the glue to dry and everything, but it's all magnetic. Yeah, actually, yeah. And then, which figure? This figure over here. I made a seating position over here, and then I added some stuff in behind here. Kind of like to do some monitors and some stuff going on. So I can now have a third figure if I wanted to sit in this compartment. And sit over there. So now I have a third figure to sit on. He's got some computer consoles over there, so he's the one that could be manipulating the guns and everything. I know nobody will do this because the shell casings will drop on top of the drivers and the passenger. I don't really care. I just think it looks much nicer this way. Makes more sense to me. And it's a toy. Come on, guys, it's a toy. I'm okay with that kind of possibility with the shell casings that doesn't really exist to fall on top of them. So, and then you can stand up, and if I could put his arm or hand into this thing, now that makes more sense to me. The positioning, you can stand up and do whatever he needs to do and all that stuff. So it's like the perfect height. I don't understand why Hasbro didn't do this. I mean, they already have. I literally did not have to do anything on the inside, as you can see. If you want to, this patch right here is not supposed to be there anyway. I just did this for the reveal, but that's the magnet that I'm using, and with that exposed like that, you'll notice now it's a stronger connection. And basically I can cover it back up. Technically this should have another magnet system that holds it in place, but that's the other magnet. If I want to put the gun turret back into the original position. And you can barely tell that I made some modifications over here. This is the worst of my cuts. Yeah. Okay, so it's $100. It's the Vamp. How much are you willing to spend if you want to destroy $100 figure, right? So for one thing, I want to thank Gun Bunny Customs. The guy's really good at customizing, and like the first day I received my Vamp, he already has a video of how to take it apart, which is very, very helpful for me because then I got to see what's inside, see what's possible and all that stuff. So first thing, the tank placement of this thing so it's not moving. I saw X-Manic Customs do it this way. where he was told that if you do it this way, then you can kind of wedge it in to use the lip on this one, so it's not floppy and moving and all that stuff. Um, so it kind of sits a little bit better. So as you can see, it moves like that. There's another guy. So that's that's how Gun Many or X Many Customs did it. And it works a little bit, so that's kind of cool. The first one I saw though was from a guy called Baldylux Reviews, and he has it pointing this way so that the ammo cans are actually upright. So what's basically happening is the the ammo belt is actually providing enough of a friction so that it's, it's doing that, so it's also sticking like that too, and your ammo cans are sitting kind of like upright or correctly or anything. I'm gonna do it this way because it's enough, there's enough tension to provide there, so it's not moving anymore. So that's one way of doing it. So that, thank you for those guys who are sharing out the proper information. So I've told you guys before, I really don't like how this thing is sitting here, and I don't know if it's supposed to be automated or not. Plus, it keeps on popping out whenever you're just moving it, all that stuff. However hard you put it in there, it just keeps on popping out. So one of the things I want to do is mount it up here. I just think for me, it will just look better that way. Plus, I can have the figure in the back standing up. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna sand off this lip because I don't like the fact that it's gonna be overhanging on this. Maybe, I don't know, I'll decide. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use magnets. I'll drill a hole right through here, and then I'll attach a magnet through there. I'll experiment first. I do have a couple of magnets that I want to use. This is kind of too big for what I want because I do want to maintain the shape of this bar. So I have smaller magnets that I can use, which has kind of disappeared. They're about this size. I just don't know if this is going to be strong enough to hold this thing in place. So I'll experiment. I do have I did buy a few more that has a lot more range in terms of the diameter of the magnet. These are pretty strong magnets though. So I'll test it out with this one and see if that works. And then the other thing I want to do is after looking at Gun Bunny's customs and how he opened it up, I want to take this off and create a seat where another Joe can sit in here on the back, and then operating this from the back. Or I can have the seat, he can have him sitting there, and then he can just stand up on the seat where he can go ahead and operate these guns. So what I've done is initially, and I do it very, very carefully. I'll initially use this and just start scraping it really quickly. Not a lot of pressure. I want to make sure I don't go over. This is a mistake. I'm not sure if you can see it. There's a scratch here now. Like that one. Right. And I think there's another one here you can kind of see. That's just basically me overdoing it too much. But if you do it really slowly, you can create a track, right? And once you've created a track, I have this kind of saw. This is I bought this from Amazon. It's very, very thin. You can do this faster, but you'll be damaging the vehicle too much, I think. What I want to do is I want to create it so that it's basically creating minimal damage to the vehicle itself. So once I have the initial tracks that I can run on, like, look what I'm doing on this one, see? So this one has the initial scratches, and I'm basically just running this at a kind of at an angle. You can kind of see already the shavings that's coming off of that plastic, right? There's barely I'm putting barely enough pressure on that. I just keep on going back and forth until eventually there's enough of a groove, and then it'll punch through, and then basically I just start sawing. Very, very patiently. Not a lot of pressure. Let the teeth of the saw do the work for you, so you're not putting too much pressure, because when you're putting too much pressure, there's a chance you might break it. There's a chance you might go over, which is what happened here and here, and it looks like I did it over here too. But as you can see, there's only like one strike here and two, and then there's one here. So you want to prevent that from happening. So let me continue on. As you can see, I've already punched through here a couple of times, and it goes all over here already. This one's already punched through. This one's punched through already, so I'm working on this side. Let me let me finish this off camera, and then I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. So there it is, successful removal of the piece over here. I'm just gonna sand it a little bit. So the important thing that Gun Bunny's taking apart of the Vamp informed me was these two posts. So if you turn it over, you have these two screws over here, and basically what worried me was this two posts was going to be in here in the middle, which would have sacrificed these poles being removed if I had to. But luckily, when he was turning it over, this indentation over here, the square, basically informed me that the screws were going to be outside of it. So that was really, really helpful. And as you can see, it's so close, but it works, right? So the reason why I used the slow method, it took me basically an hour to saw through it. But as you can see, the only damage that occurred was this over lip cut over here and this one, and that was just me being too heavy-handed. But because I was, you know, it was soft enough, it's the scratch is not that bad. So the reason why you want to use something like this, and you can even get it even thinner if I had used a jewelry saw, but there's no way I can use a jewelry saw because it's enclosed. But the reason why is look at how close of a cut this is. Like if you can, if I put it back on, you can barely tell it's been removed, right? So that's what I'm planning on doing. So what I'm gonna do later on is create a very, very soft lip over here, so that if I wanted to, I can actually restore this, so as a covering for this part again. So let's test it out, right? So these posts I'm not gonna move because I feel that there's enough space in there for a Joe to come in. This might not be a good Joe to put in there because he has got the back over there. And there you go. Definitely more than enough room. You can actually go pretty deep in there. So that's one part of the mod, so that you can actually put a Joe in here. So the next part of the mod is to create a seat here to make it look kind of the way it's to make it look like it's cohesive. I'm gonna leave that as it is right now. Maybe I'll remove this part just so it goes a little bit more. You don't really need to. But I want to create a cushion back here. Like I want to enclose this whole thing up. So there's a cushion here. I'm gonna enclose this part too, and this part. So it's just gonna be a one-man seater in the back. Maybe create a computer console in here. And then in the end, if he wants to, he can stand over here like this. And when I have the gun placement on top, look at that. Now that looks good. That's the way I'm thinking it should look. So I'm gonna figure out what to do. So I think in the end I will be taking this apart. It's just a bunch of screws that Gun Bunny showed, and this will lift completely. That will allow me to work on the inside, so I'm not having to go back and forth. And maybe I will remove this. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet what I want to do. But let me keep working on it. That's basically it. That's how I customize my Vamp reversible. It's not too bad looking. I decided to use foam board because it's easier to make the shapes that I wanted for the seat, and then I painted it so that it kind of matches the color of the seat from the inside. Nothing fancy, it's just enough, and all that stuff. So yeah. So there you go. There's my custom Vamp with a clutch and flint and stalker. I hope you guys are enjoying your Vamp as I am, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.